in game one, it just seemed like, the Mavericks weren't aware that there was a first half to be played. They definitely played better in the second half, and that the NBA Finals started for them kind of then. And Porzingis, I mean, that's exactly what the Celtics wanted to see out of him in game one, I would imagine, PJ.
Well, I tell you what, we were amazed. They said he was going to play, but you never knew. They were always, if he feels good, how he was. He said himself, thought he felt good. I can't believe they even dreamed he would be half as good as he was. He was just the impact player in the game. And right from when he first came in, Joe Mazzulla made a good move. I think he surprised a lot of us by not starting him. I think it was the second game in Kristaps' career that he came off the bench. And we just assumed, hey, if he's going to play, they'll start him. That's what they always do. They did not. It turned out to be a great move. He came in, and first half in particular, he looked as good as he's ever played. He's been a real impact player for the Celtics, but he changed things on both ends of the floor. I thought he would really make a big difference on the defensive end. It would be a lot more difficult for the Mavs to score inside with him and Horford, who played together a little bit. But, he's such a good shot blocker. And right from when he came on the floor, he was blocking shots. He wasn't even hitting the rim. You figure somebody that doesn't play for 37 days is not going to have a good shooting touch. And he had a great shooting touch. So, hats off to Kristaps for the way he played, Joe Mazzulla for the foresight to bring him off the bench, because for whatever reason, it's hard to imagine he could play any better than he did. And he just turned the game around. He got the crowd. The crowd was obviously jacked up to begin with, but when he came on the floor, they went nuts. Even during pregame warm-ups, 2 hours before the game, when he was out on the floor warming up, he was getting like mini standing ovations before the game. And I said, oh man, they expect this poor guy to come back and play great. That's just asking too much. And he exceeded that. So hats off to him. As you said, the Mavs, just weren't right. You've seen these every year, Rich. That the finals, it's funny. People don't realize, first of all, you got two different conferences here. The teams in the East don't know the teams in the West as well. You play the whole year with your side, and you don't see it as much in the first three rounds of the playoffs. There's familiarity. Everybody kind of knows everybody. This one was strange. There were so many days off between games for both teams. And oftentimes that first game is like a boxing fight. Like you have the first round and you say, okay, now we know how it's going to go. People didn't really know what this was going to be like. And right from the beginning, the Celtics were ready. Mavs made I think both teams started out 2 for 2. I said, wow, we're going to have a shootout here. It's really going to get going. And it didn't. Celtics played really well. They played like they've been, practicing every day. Dallas played like a team that hadn't played in 7 days. And really, other than Luka, virtually all their players in the first half until about the last 6 minutes of the second quarter were kind of in a funk. They couldn't make shots. They were really impacted by the Celtics defense. They didn't dominate on the glass. They really didn't do anything that Jay Kidd could have been pleased with. They finally settled down last 4 or 5 minutes of the second quarter. And they started out the third quarter kind of impressively. They cut a 29-point lead down to 8, and then the Celtics responded, and that was the end of the game. Now, the game didn't go, the way a lot of us hoped it would go. But I still think the series potentially, Dallas has played so well. I still think that hopefully, selfishly for us, we think it's going to be a heck of a series.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.